And we are back in the garage, in the new garage of the new place. We moved to a new house, and so this is the new garage. Things are not 100% set up. We still got a bunch of boxes and junk we got to put away in that side. But for the most part, we started setting up the garage in the way that we want to have it. Here's Mickey. She's extremely dirty. We've been away. We just got back from Texas. We were at GTR Fest. It was an awesome event. I'll post some pictures at the end of this video. Like always, it was fun. Sadly, we weren't able to bring Mickey to the event due to logistical challenges that we ran into between closing on the house, moving, and everything that's happening. We weren't able to figure it out in time. But either way, we still attended and we had a great time. So today we are going to work on, sadly, this is cool. We got this at GTR Fest. We got our friends over at SPL who had a great coupon during the event, 20% off. We were able to get the last piece for the for the rear, which is the upper control arms for the suspension. So we'll be tackling that sometime in the near future. Holidays are coming, so I'll be off from work and taking advantage of that time to work on the car a little bit more. But anyways, today our friends over at TKGT, which is the USA distributor for Trust Kikaku, they gracefully helped us find a shifter because our amazing short throw shifter, our C's NOS shifter, which we have installed right now. We were doing the rear main seal. I did this offline and noticed that the boot is broken. Therefore, the oil that sits in the transmission can come up and it can create a mess. So we're going to take it off to rebuild, get a new boot, and then eventually put it back on. Or maybe reuse the boot that this one comes with, or I might just install this in the meantime until I can find a better boot. So that's what we're going to be doing today. And let's get to it. We got to take this whole thing apart, take the shift knob and the centerpiece off, and take the shifter out. Let's get it. All right, so we got the knob off. And then we pulled the this piece out. I'm just gonna have it over hanging by the adapter there. So what we got to do now is take these four 10mm bolts with the socket, and this whole assembly comes off. Take the boots off, and then get to underneath. Let's get to it. All right, we got the shifter out. Here is the problem. So the boot ripped, which inheriting lets the oils from the transmission that are in the transmission kind of spill up, and they're spilling all over when you're shifting, and it can potentially create a mess and all this stuff. I have an old boot from the original shifter I took off. I'm going to see if there's a way that I can retrofit this boot into here without ruining it. I think it's going to be tough because this boot comes down into a tiny opening. I know it's rubber, but I don't want to ruin it. But we'll see what we can do. I'm going to look into doing some of this, or we can install the Nismo one. Here's what it looks like out of the car. It's pretty much, this is the problem. So as you can see in there, there is fluids and stuff that come up. And so the whole point of that boot is to prevent those fluids from spilling out when you do shifting and stuff like that. And with the boot compromise, it can start creating a mess. So it totally sucks because this shifter is very rare, very unique. You can't find these anymore, so it's somewhat depressing. But I'm gonna see what I can do. Maybe I can. I'm gonna try some stuff, but we'll see. But anyways, it's pretty straightforward. So because it is a short throw shifter, the length of this is actually longer. Um, for example, in comparison, here's the original shifter, right? So notice how much longer, lower the pivot is, because the idea behind this is that smaller movements on the top means um, about basically the same movement at the bottom as if it would have been if it was this length. So the main thing is when you do a longer or a short throw, the rod is generally longer. So to compensate for that, you have an adapter like so that makes up the difference, so that then the travel distance from the pivot itself, this is the pivot, it's the same at the bottom. So therefore when it attaches, it ends up being the same. But because you have a longer rod, smaller movement, because the pivot is in a longer position, right? Shorter throws. That's how that works. Pretty standard, pretty easy. Totally crazy, disappointing that this broke. That sucks. So let's see what we can figure out. Okay, so we were able to find this type of boot in our local auto store, and it works. So we're going to be using this one. However, I learned and made a huge mistake that if you put these things on the shifter, they don't come back out. They rip. And so I made that mistake and I ripped this one. So let's not do that again. Today we got another one. Here it is, brand new again. And we are going to be adding it to the car. So we got the boot back on. We're actually going to take that off because I was testing a couple of things, but we're going to take that off and we're going to put the new one on, and we can reuse our C shifter, which is awesome. Best shifter in the world. Here's a funny thing. So where is it? Right here. So the Nismo, we had ordered the Nismo short throw, whatever. Here's a part number from our friends over at Trust Kikaku or TKGT, and they sent it to us, and here it is, brand new. And the funny thing about this is it's actually the same one that I had in the car before I put the C shifter on. So that's a little disappointing. So anyways, we're not going to use this one for now. We're going to put it back in the box, and we're just going to store it up with all the parts that we have, because we were able to reuse the C shifter. So let's get to it. And we're done. So we put the boot on, and everything's back how it should be. Super excited because I was a little upset for a minute there that that broke. So kind of like a quick put this back together. Definitely we want to make sure you don't do the mistake that I did and do the right order of operations when reinstalling this back on. For me, I did those steps out of whack, and I ended up breaking the boot that I had bought, so I ended up having to get another one. But anyways, the way it works is, so the order of operations in this particular kit, and again, this is the C's short throw shifter. If you find one, they're very rare, very awesome, best in the market. So the way it works is there's a spacer. The first thing that goes into the opening is a spacer. Then it's the OEM key. It's a little plastic key with two. It's like a little plastic tube with two keys on the side. Then that goes in there. Then the shifter itself. Um, yeah, this is another shifter. So then the shifter goes in. Getting this bushing, the white bushing, into its location in the into the transmission, how it pairs to it, uh, is a absolute nightmare. So just be super patient. Don't just like force it because you lose your patience. When it goes in super easy. But getting it to go in, because it's like the tolerances of the opening for that is tiny. So it needs to go at the right angle in the right alignment. It's a total pain in the ass. Then on the C's, then goes the lock-in bracket, which is this guy. Then you lock these with, there's bolts and nuts underneath. And to get those to lock in is kind of a pain too. What I ended up doing is I bought one of these cheap extenders. It's got a magnet at the end, and I bent it. And I used this to hold my nut underneath, and I used my fingers to put the bolt on top. It took a minute, but through trial and error, we got it done. Then the absolute last piece is the boot. So on the last one, I made the mistake of putting the boot before I put this on. And then that doesn't work because then the this plastic piece, which is part of the sealant or the way it works, it says on top, that was not in the right order. So basically, this was sitting outside of that. Doesn't work. And then I try to take the boot off. Once that boot's in there, you're not getting it off. That's what happened when I tried to take it off. It rips because this hole is too small. So we have to get another one. So remember, order of operations: spacer, key, shifter, locker, lock it up, tie it down, then boot. And then you're good. So now we're going to finish putting the dust cover, put the bolts back on, put our AC controller back on, and then we should be able to take it for a ride. Let's go. All right, let's take it for a spin. See how this feels. So far, it feels pretty good. So let's go. It is pitch black outside right now. Can't see anything. All right, shifting smooth. So far, so good. Everything seems fine. So it's a pretty easy install, to be honest. It was a good fix, easy fix. I was definitely upset when I learned that my boot was compromised because it's such a rare shifter. You can't find them anymore, and they're gone, man. And so when I found mine, it was new old stock, never opened, never used. So I was super excited. And yeah, but it's one of those things that it can happen, and so. But now we know it's an easy fix. Never done that before, so we just learned something new. And yeah, this car just drives so good. Everything's so dark right now. Clutch is still a little cold. Yeah, feels good. Car feels good. Drives good. It shifts so good. The shifter it's like butter. It's a perfect feel. It really does make the drive experience so much better. Highly, highly recommend. If you can find one, buy it. At GTR Fest, we ran into a gentleman who had a R34 GTR one NOS, and they're going for crazy money. He was asking $2,500, which is pretty wild. Uh, but I guess that's the world we're living in right now. Everything GTR is just super expensive. But you know, these cars are super rare and special, and you definitely want to take care of them. And you take care of them, they'll take care back. Take care of you back. So, but anyways, thanks for watching. Uh, we'll be doing some more videos coming shortly too. We got a lot more things to do in the car. It's We're around holiday time, so I'll be taking some extended PTO from my day job, and we'll be doing some more videos. I want to tackle the rear part of the car with suspension upgrades, oil bushings. So we have new knuckles, new bearings. I actually have all the parts necessary to rebuild the rear diff. I have all the bearings, the main input shaft, and all that stuff. So it should go pretty smooth, but we'll want to definitely try that when we got some more time because the car will be off for a while. So, anyways, thanks for watching, and yeah, I'll see you on the next one. Cheers.